what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all. Y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be looking at Jackboy, who's apparently calling me out for not exposing Kodak Black after Jackboy dropped Kodak's Interrogation. Now, I don't know if this is clickbait. All Urban Central, 2.87 million subscribers. The title says, F a sniper. Jackboy calls out 1090 Jake after Kodak Interrogation. So let's go ahead and listen to what Jackboy has to say.
I need my boy. I see a lot of blogs be like this. I need my boy 1090 to break it down for me so I can understand more. I need a new PS5 controller. That's what I'm here. But 10.
All right, so immediately he says, I need my boy 1090 Jake. That doesn't sound like I'm getting called out. That sounds like I'm getting called upon. But obviously, you know, it's a better title if it's, oh, he's calling out 1090 Jake. So yeah, this already sounds clickbait as fuck. But let's see what he's saying.
I'm here. But 1090 gotta break it down for me so I can understand more. You hear me? But I won't give a Jesus himself come and say, like, boy, you ain't do nothing wrong. Boy, if that was a serious charge, you talking about this and that, boy, your ass would have told some.
All right, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I've made a hell of a reputation when it comes to exposing people, exposing rappers, getting paperwork, whatever. But my word is not above Jesus, okay? I appreciate the respect he's showing, but I'm not on that level. But let's see what else he has to say.
Say where you get that video from. Somebody sent it to me. I'm like, what the? But the only reason I'm like, damn, this shit wild. I kind of knew of that case too, but I didn't know, like, behind the scenes how you ripped it. Then when I seen you say, I'm like, damn, you saying real things. I'm like, yeah, ain't go to trial. Of course I know that. Of course I know the people ain't get convicted. Moeezy, him out here. But it's like, hold on, damn, no wonder every time I get locked up, police be knowing all type of extra details. Like, y'all be in that bitch saying street names. Y'all be in that bitch saying this, where stay at, Golden, Real Deal, stay in Hollandale.
All right, so this is interesting. So Jackboy is talking about names that Kodak dropped in the interrogation. Moeezy goes by him N-word on Instagram. Golden apparently really lives in Hollandale, which is what Kodak told the police. So according to Jackboy, Kodak's talking about real people, but Whack 100 and his team of Avengers or whatever they're called, the Exposes. Shout out to Whack. I fuck with Whack, but I don't fuck with Whack. It's one of those type of, you know, it's like the uncle that you don't like that you try to box at every family event. Like, that's how I feel me and Whack out. But Whack came out and said Kodak is good because his paperwork says he didn't say anything about anyone. So let's actually break down the paperwork, which is what I do best, right? So this is the first file right here. Let me make sure that's nice and pretty for y'all. Y'all can see everything. All right. So Kodak got charged with a robbery, battery, kidnapping, and kidnapping. Two of these kids were under 13. Damn. On the above date and time, the deputies responded to 15th Ave in reference to a kidnapping. Deputies met with the victim, Juan, who positively identified the defendant, Dyson Octave. So Juan told on Kodak straight up via a show up as the person who kidnapped and battered him. Okay, so the police arrive at the scene. They find Juan, and Juan points out Kodak as the one that apparently whooped him. A sworn tape statement was taken from Juan in reference to the facts of the case. He stated that the defendant chased after him, punched him several times, and then dragged him into a blue Audi against his will. Juan suffered lacerations, bruising, and now I gotta find the other paper. Oh, here it is right here. And swelling to his face, hips, and legs. Damn, Kodak whooped his ass. If you swelled up somebody's face, hips, legs. All right, so while deputies were on scene, several other juveniles approached and stated that the defendant and another person took them against their will. I spoke with Calvin. He stated that he was approached by the defendant and was told that if he didn't get in the car and show him who broke in his house, that he would physically harm him. So Kodak's crib got broken into. Kodak finds one of these jits, Calvin. And Yak pretty much told him, if you don't tell me who broke into my shit, I'm going to beat you up. Calvin said out of fear, he went into the defendant's vehicle. The defendant, without lawful authority, did forcibly, by threat, or secretly confine, abduct, imprison, or restrain Calvin, a child under the age of 13, without the consent of said child's parent or legal guardian. The defendant, without lawful authority, did forcibly, by threat, or secretly confine, abduct Marvin against his will by intimidating and threatening to harm him if he didn't cooperate with his demands. So Kodak beat up Juan, kidnapped Calvin, then he kidnapped Marvin, forcing them to cooperate. Emily stated that she was physically grabbed and forced into the vehicle against her will by the unidentified suspect. So this is somebody else that Kodak is with. But she identified the defendant as the driver of the vehicle. She said that she was told to take out their cell phones and turn them over. She said she took her phone out of her pocket and gave them to the unidentified suspect as he requested, because she was afraid if she didn't that he would physically hurt her. Mark, another person, this is the fourth person. Mark stated that he was intimidated to get into the vehicle by the defendant by stating that if he didn't get in and help look for Juan, that he would be hurt. Okay, so Kodak ran down on Calvin, Marvin, Emily, and Mark looking for Juan, apparently. And when he found Juan, he beat the shit out of him. We already read that one, so let's go up. 2 witnesses stated that they observed the defendant beating Juan, and then they saw the defendants push Juan into the blue Audi and take off. The witnesses gave sworn taped statements. The defendant's mother, this is Kodak's mom, gave a statement stating that she told her son to call the police in reference to the burglary and not take it in his own hands. She said that she observed the defendant punch Juan in the face and then she walked away. So she told Kodak to call the police because someone broke into his crib. And then she said she saw Kodak put hands on Juan. The defendant, Kodak, was positively identified by a show-up and photo lineups from all victims. Sworn statements were taken in reference to the facts of this case. Now, a search incident to arrest revealed the defendant was in possession of marijuana, which was field tested, blah, blah, blah. So Kodak was placed into an interview room, and he spontaneously uttered several statements saying that, I know I fucked up. I shouldn't have taken matters into my own hands. He also stated that he punched Juan in the face. Post Miranda, the defendant admitting to punching Juan several times, he stated that he knows what he did was wrong. The defendant added that he put Juan in the vehicle, but that others got in when he asked them to. The defendant stated that he doesn't know the name of his friend who was in the vehicle with him. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all, right? Because reading this right here, Kodak is admitting to what he did, and he's not identifying his boy that apparently did it with him, which is flawless, right? Like this is what gangsters are supposed to do. This is what, if you in the streets, this is how you're supposed to, I mean, he didn't really have to admit it, but everybody fucking said he did it. So he's like, yo, I did what I did, but I'm not telling y'all whatever. But what's crazy is paperwork is one thing. When you see something come out of somebody's mouth, it's an entirely different story. Now, obviously, I have the full interrogation. And the full interrogation was like 4 or 5 hours, but I got out all the parts where he's like sleeping and shit. And it came out to 1 hour and 39 minutes. Now, what's interesting about this, I had put whatever these are called so y'all can see everything, right? The investigation, Kodak admits he hit the boy who stole his jewelry. Sheriff asks Kodak for DNA, yada, yada, yada. Now, it gets really interesting when it comes to the paperwork because Kodak names his friend. Kodak names Pito as the friend who put the victims in the car. Now, this little piece of information is important because it actually goes against what the paperwork says. The paperwork says he never identified his friend. So we're going to go to 10129 and we're going to actually listen to what this is saying. And y'all can hear it from Kodak.
What's your homeboy's street name or
Pito.
rap name? Huh?
People.
What's your homeboy's street name? Matter of fact, let's rewind this a little bit so we can hear the context of the conversation leading up to this.
I did hit him. I'm wrong for that.
Did you ask him? Hey,
I ain't asked him about my stuff.
you just hit him straight up?
I ain't just straight up hit him. I finished 100 times, but I ain't even really just want to hit him like that. You know, I was asking about it, but I ain't asking about like, hey, where's my stuff? I asked about it like,
And
you know what's going
say?
on, let me know. You know how if you do something wrong, like we ain't really just gonna say,
Right,
okay.
you were saying no.
Yeah, like no, like playing like no, but the way he was acting with it, like he know he wrong. And he was ready to run before I hit him like that, you know what I'm saying? But I hit him one time, I ain't even really want to hit him. But after I hit him,
You hit him, did he fall?
no. He fell after he was running, he couldn't catch himself, and then when I'm chasing him, he's just like so nervous or whatever, and then he just
It sound like Kodak popped the shit out of his ass. I ain't gonna lie.
he tried to catch himself, he could have caught himself, but he fell. I ain't hit him no more when he was on the floor. He was already on the floor, and people was on the street, all that. This day was a long day. It wasn't even, because how it was brought up to the attention,
After you hit him, you caught up to him.
we still had a long day after.
So you picked him up?
Yes, he was in the car, I put him in the car.
How did you put him in the car?
I ain't even put him in the car, my homework.
Okay, so Kodak dropped the shit out of Buddy, who was apparently a minor. Kodak was 18 at this time. And hit him so bad, he had to get picked up. But this is interesting because the detective asked, how did you get him in the car? And Kodak is about to say he didn't do it, his friend did it.
Yes, he was in the car, I put him in the car.
How did you put him in the car?
I ain't even put him in the car, my homework put him in the car, but
What's your homeboy's name?
I don't know his real name, but that's my homeboy though. He ain't hit him, I hit him.
What's your homeboy's street name or
Pito.
rap name? Huh?
People,
Pito?
yeah, he don't
Okay, so this is important right here, right? Kodak fucked up. Kodak kept it real in the beginning, saying, I mean, not really, right? He just fucked up because he says, I put him in the car. And the detective asked, how did you put him in the car? He said, well, I didn't do it. My homeboy did it. Had you never said that, no homeboy would have been brought up, right? So then he says, all right, what's your homeboy's name? I don't know his name. He's my homeboy. He didn't hit him. I hit him. So Kodak, he's keeping it real. Like, the responsibility is on me. I'm the one that hit him. But the thing is, you're under investigation for a kidnapping. Kidnapping is forcibly doing something to somebody, putting them somewhere they don't want to be. The detective is trying to find out who your homeboy is because technically your homeboy helped kidnap this kid after you hit him in his shit. He says, what's your homeboy's street name? He says, Pito, something like that, right? Now, who he's talking about is this dude, Pito Burr, whose Instagram says 1800 block Golden Acre Project, Sniper Gang. This is Kodak's man's right here. This is Pito. So Kodak apparently told the police clearly that Pito is the one that put the kid in the car. And I don't think Pito knew Kodak dropped his name in the interrogation room 10 years ago. So when Jackboy is saying you gave real names, and I'm going to give y'all, the rest of the names in another video. Jackboy is saying you gave real names. And technically, Kodak did give up his homeboy's name. He just didn't give them the government name. You said the nickname, the street name, right? This guy still goes by this name, but his boy never got picked up for kidnapping. It's insane that the paperwork doesn't match the video. And I wonder how much paperwork I've looked up that it looks like they kept it real, but then when you actually get the video of what they're saying, it's a completely different story. Now, everybody is under the conclusion that he spun the police, and I plan on breaking all of this down. I want y'all to, in depth, see every name Kodak dropped, and if they're real names, if it's bullshit, whatever, because the street code, which is a fucking myth, says you're not supposed to drop any name, right? Young Thug just got crucified, right? Boston Richie got crucified. But Thug seems to have a pass, clearly. I don't really think Thug snitched, you know what I'm saying? Personally. And we got the Kodak tape. So y'all stay tuned. I'm going to start rapidly dropping the sections of this interrogation, and it gets good. At one point, Kodak hit somebody so hard, tacos fell out of their pocket. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. Till next time.